Good morning. Here we are. We're heading on down the old pike. It's August 29th. It's Friday, and we're heading down to do a bunch of properties. I don't know why that's so. Yeah, but all is good and pretty good. Really going through some tough times here with Mike. See, if it isn't one fucking thing, it's the other. But I'm clearing things up here with my life. I'll tell you what. Had been having a lot of troubles with my brothers over a lot of years. Very, 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 very mean to me. And Chuck is as unpredictable as, he's about as predictable as fuck. He's scarier than shit. From the time he put the knives in Mark's bedroom door a week after his brain surgery, because he didn't want to go out driving around drinking, to the time Dad called me in Paradise, Montana, and crying his eyes out saying Chuck was going to kill him, to the many, many numerous times that Rita called and said that she called Chuck just because she's a girl, she's a tender-hearted girl, said she's feeling melancholy because it was Dad's birthday, and she called Chuck just to talk to her brother, and he fucking rode that poor fucking girl like a rented fucking mule, made her cry like a dirty bitch. So yeah, and then I was thinking about Kelly this morning. I was thinking about, and not to think negatively, I think I'm talking myself into going up over the hump, because it's a rare situation. It's not every day, and it's very rarely that a family member decides to walk away from his remaining siblings. It's kind of weird, but that's my healthy route. And this isn't like we just got into a spat or something. I just, as an overall consensus, I think about why I'm so insecure and why I deal with things so tough, and why I don't think I'm ever good enough for a mate, and all those kinds of things. And I used to think it was my mother, but it's really my brothers, Probably my mother back in the time, but I had zero support from my brothers. So I was thinking about my brother Kelly, and I was thinking back about my mother was so fucked up. It was just it was heinous. These days, I would have been taken away from her without a shadow of a doubt. They would have taken me away from her. They would have told Dad to sit up and sip soup and deal with that crazy bitch. Or they would have had me taken away from her, from all of the things that she had done to me that none of my family even know about. Teasing me about being uncircumcised and hammering on me and telling me I'm going to be unaccepted if I didn't pull that skin back, and I'd pull a skin back on my little peepee till it bled, hoping it would stay back, because she said that if I didn't pull it back, my friends would tease me and the girls would laugh at me. All the time. Whenever she got me alone, that's what the menu was for the day. I used to cringe when I'd see that bitch come into the bathroom and go to the bathroom with a cigarette dangling out of her mouth. I knew she was going to say it. So I'd just be in the tub just fucking cringing, and sure enough, Lynn, you better pull that skin back, or those kids, your friends, are going to laugh at you and the girls are going to tease you. And I'd pull back on that fucking skin till it bled. And I couldn't figure out why. I'm doing what my mom said and it's not working, and what am I doing fucking wrong? 6 years old, 7 years old. It's like, am I not doing this right? She is a cunt, I'll tell you what. She was a cunt. And Anyway, so I'd go with, plus all of her fucked up shenanigans, you know, at any given day you could go down to the fucking Mint Bar at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and see that worthless bitch dancing in the bar naked. And it wasn't a drunk dance. It wasn't like she was drunk like the Navajos. She was drunk she was fucked up from all of the pills she had eaten. Not caring one iota about what her family went through, you know. So I've heard people say, well, you got to realize she had 7 kids. Well, listen here, you better fucking realize that Dad hired a fucking maid. We had a maid to help my mother out, and my mother could have whatever she wanted from my dad. And you're not helping anything out, no matter what the condition is, if you're popping pills and drinking booze, getting the good mix going, you know. She'd hoard them up. She'd say, well, I gotta wait till I get about 15 or 16 pills. You give her a green one, a red one, a small one, a big one. She didn't care what they were. She stored them up, saved them up, and down the hatch she went, and she'd crack open a 16-ouncer, and away she'd go off to the races. But anyway, so to get out of there, I mean, I needed out of that house. I mean, I needed to be away from the craziness and the probable of her teasing me about my fucking being uncircumcised. So I'd go with my brother Kelly, because he's my brother, and I love my brothers, you know, and I'm misguided, and I'm little, and that would be the worst fucking thing I could do, is go with him, because he was a mean son of a bitch to me. That guy was so mean to me, it was absolutely fucking incredible. Just heinous. He would be so mean all the time, it was just absolutely freaking insane. Go the fuck around me. What are you doing? Fuck are you fucking doing, you bitch? Anyway, I had something blow out of the fucking back of the goddamn pickup. So anyway, here's an example of how that worthless fucking Kelly would be. I would, this is just a little sample size of what went on a regular basis with that jackass. My little theory, my little motto when I was a little boy, my theory to try to help things out with my dad was that if I was a good boy, which I always was, but if I was a good boy, being a good boy, that could help my dad with my mom, and I could try to make things as good around the house as possible so my mother wouldn't be such a fucking freakazoid. Little Lenny, I'd do the dishes, I'd vacuum the house, I'd mow the lawn, I'd do anything I could to try to make it to where my mother didn't have any pressure. And so my father, primarily, the guy that was trying, didn't have any pressure. So I was a little yes man. Boy, I'll tell you what, I was not into frickin' getting into trouble or causing trouble, or I wanted there to be peace in the valley, for sure. I ran into Alan Hoskins and he made me be the opposite. I was an accomplice with that little motherfucker. So that was a bad thing. But I would go with Kelly, and here's, like I say, to make a short story long, here's what I would be up against. We'd be driving along, we'd be going to get wood, and he would lash out at me very harshly for zero reason. For no reason at all. He would lash out at me like you wouldn't frickin' believe. Here's an example. We'd be stopped getting firewood. He'd open the tailgate. We'd be getting ready to get the firewood. He'd be getting his saw ready. I'm there right at attention because I knew that that's how I had to be. I had to be right there. If he needed something, I had to be at his hip side at 7, 8 years old. And he'd look at me and he'd say, Lenny, you go get that file. I need that file right now. And really harsh like that. I mean, absolutely fucking harsh like that. And when he would say that, number one, I wouldn't know where the file was. It could be on his dash. It could be under the seat. It could be in his toolbox. It could be anywhere. But regardless, I knew that if it only even took me 2.5 seconds to get the file for him, I was already too late. It didn't matter how fast I got that file and came back, I was already fucked. And that's the way that was time and time and time again. Talk about a little boy that's already in a completely fucked up world with his mother. Completely fucked up. Needing no more pressure in my little 7-year-old life. And I have this bozo doing that. Time and time and time and time and time again. Absolutely heinous. And that was just one sample size of the things that he'd do. So here's a funny thing about that. You know, that was at the impressionable, probably even 4 years old, you know, this would happen. But it happened for many years and very, very often. So here's a funny thing that happened. This was like a godsend to me. I always wondered, and I think that maybe I thought it was just normal. I think that maybe, but Terry was a lot different. I mean, Terry was nice. I mean, so I could just see these major differences. I couldn't evaluate whether one difference was worse or wrong or right. I didn't know, you know. I couldn't figure out why Kelly was so mean to me asking me to get the file. I wasn't going to buck him on getting the file. I was ready to go get the file. But he always came across so goddamn mean. And I always just couldn't figure out why, and I guess I probably just kind of accepted it. Well, and I didn't even realize this was going to happen. This just unfolded like the good Lord Jesus Christ above walked me right into the answer. So here I am. I think it was like 15 years old. I was starting to feel my freedoms because Dad helped me get a car immediately when I was 15. Bless his heart. So I was starting to feel my independence, and I was starting to feel like I didn't have to be tied up to somebody if I didn't want to be. I could just get in that goddamn car and drive away. I mean, when you're little and you don't have a license or anything, you're at their mercy 100%. So here's Shad, of all people. Shad and I and Kelly went and got firewood for the day. And I have to tell you, that Shad, he was good as gold. I mean, obviously. I mean, why wouldn't he be? I mean, he was just as good as gold. And on the way home that night, he was sleeping. And he slept all the way home. And I was we were together probably from 6 in the morning till 7 or 8 at night. And Shad had just rocked, man. He had done nothing, you know, he was just a perfect kid. Perfect. No arguing, no nothing. You know, very well behaved, very low key day. And we finally rolling into town, and we got to Kelly's house, and little Shad was sleeping. He'd been sleeping for quite a while. And I'll be goddamned if Kelly woke Shad up and said, Shad, you get in that house and you take care of that homework and you do those dishes right away. You get in there. That's how Kelly came across to Shad right out of the blue. You would think that they were fighting all day long. You would think that Shad was being a little prick all day long. I mean, I could not believe it. And I knew that Shad marched to the beat of his drum all the time, so it's not like Shad had not ever done it before. That's just simply how Kelly came across. So it's funny how that happened. Here I am. I know I got my car right out there, and my keys are in my pocket, and I can just simply drive away, and I'm not there at his mercy. And I don't know what gave me the balls But I said to Kelly, I said, Kelly, why do you come across that way? I can't believe it. 16 years old and I finally fucking said what needed to be said. I said, why do you come across that way, Kelly? He was sleeping. And he would have done it if you would have asked him in the most beautiful voice. Kelly said, Lenny, if you're nice to these kids, they'll be soft. They'll be too soft. Can you believe that shit? Can you believe that corrupt fucking shit? These days, that motherfucker would have ended up in prison. Shad would have been taken away from Kelly. I'll guarantee you Shad would have been taken away. Such as I would have been taken away from Kelly. He was a no good, dirty fucking prick, I'll tell you. He was a full-blown jackass all the way through my childhood. But he was my only resource, and as I think back on it, I didn't have any choice. Lenny, you're going hunting with Kelly tomorrow. Kelly's going to pick you up. Well, my terrible, the draw of two evils, stay with mom or go get firewood with Kelly. So, you know, there's generational problems with my family and my deportation, my departure from these people. You know, it's well warranted and it's very sad, but you know, I'll be shooting videos on a regular basis here, just giving sample sizes of the things that I've been through with these guys. But that was one big highlighter that I always think about, you know. Thank God that happened to Shad so I could get some form of explanation from Kelly, you know. It's crazy. Well, and here's the funny thing about that before I go. Here's the funny thing about that. You ask yourself, does it work? Does that method work? That method doesn't work. Kelly and Roseanne have had dogs, seems like border collies or whatever, little Shibas, all their life. I mean, they've had dogs all their life. Seems like they've always had like 2 dogs and 2 cats or 1 cat. And you know what? Every time you go over there, they're yelling and bitching and moaning at them dogs and the cat. Primarily the dogs. They're bitching and they're bitching and they're bitching and they're bitching. Like a little kid hanging off a grocery cart in the store, and the mother continues to bitch all the way through the shopping procession. Something is going wrong there. You're not doing something right. Kelly and Roseanne have had dogs for 50 years and they've never quit yelling at them. Different dogs, different dogs, different dogs, and they're yelling at them all the goddamn time. You know, it's like, what on fucking earth gives here? Something's not working. You go to their house and I'll guarantee you, I'll record it if I ever happen to go there again. And that's all they do is yell at the dogs. You couldn't even have a conversation with them. So anyway, there's a lot of, and Chuck goes without fucking saying. My brother Chuck goes completely without saying. Just an absolute fucking asshole. So, and then Terry, you know, Terry speaks for himself too. You know, the man with the rose-colored glasses he's a fucking quirky motherfucker as well. So, I just think for me at 61 years old to finally start growing confidence, if you can believe that. I think I'm pretty confident too, but it's just better off for me to be alone. You know, I don't have any problem. I kick fucking ass. This business is kicking fucking ass. Every day's a beauty. You know, every day's an absolute beauty. And I'm just better off without my family. You know, it's unnecessary roughness like crazy. So anyway, I just did want to shoot that video, and I will keep shooting more videos about what these motherfuckers have done to me throughout my life, you know. I think it's important, because if I were to die tomorrow, they'd find these videos and the truth will be right there, right here on the old Android. It's August 29th. We're right next door to September. Have a good day.